So one day I just Googled Body by Butter, and it was a logo. It was brown color, and it has a spoon. It was a bowl and spoon and Body by Butter written. I literally downloaded that and I gave that to a printer to design it, and that's how it started.
Hello, everyone, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Kaabil Kahani, where it is our job to bring out the passionate founders of Pakistan with one goal to bring out their stories to you, tease out their routines, habits, and deconstruct how they had the courage to build their businesses, how they scaled it up, how they came out in the market so that you can learn from it. You can apply some of their learnings, you can innovate on them, and maybe you can also get connected with them as well, whether as customers, whether as partners, whether as collaborative in any space. This is us. With us today, I have another amazing founder that I got hooked on the idea of probably about a year ago. And then I've been a very regular. And to tell you guys a story, I work at Alam in Gulberg, Lahore. And every time it's 8 p.m. and I work for like 14 hours in a day, of course, what I would want I'd crave something. I'd be like, yeah, KFC की bucket ले आते हैं या Domino's के order कर देते हैं. But then when I figured out that they have a boutique cafe called Express by Body by Butter on Alam, that has kind of become my pet peeve. You know, I can count calories. It's all forms of healthy and unhealthy as well, but I get to choose. But one thing I get assured of, I'm gonna have my craving satisfied, so it's gonna be tasty. And the founder today is of that brand. Her name is Amna Maqsood. She's here. She's gonna share her story of how she started, how she grew, where she is, and what are the plans ahead. Amna, welcome to the show.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me.
Amna, I think I wanna start with the thing which is called Body by Butter. Name के अंदर ही इतना मैजिक है कि जब आपको पहली दफा आप सुनते हो तो आप कहते हो यार ये Body by Butter क्या चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे? How does the name come into place यहाँ पे? सबसे पहले कब ये आइडिया आया कि
So
Body by
how the
Butter
name came
should
up
should
was so when we started off, that was May 2018, like almost 6.5, 7 years ago. And at that time, I was working with a boot camp, which is based in Karachi, and they had a Lahore chapter as well, which is called 42-Day Challenge. I don't know if you guys heard of it or not. Okay, so it's a very famous boot camp over there in Karachi, and there was a Lahore chapter for that as well. And I was working with them at that time. So at that time, I think around 2016, 15, and onwards, till somewhere between 2019, there was a wave of that people were on a keto diet. So they had just recently
yeah.
launched the diet called, and they called it the title, the heading of that was Body by Butter. And when I was reading
Right.
it, and I thought, okay, let's try that because I had a few women in my class who were not losing weight for a very long time. So I thought I'll test it on them. So I read the diet, and the title, I think it stayed with me. And I thought it was nice, cute, funky. So so I started the diet with the ladies of my class, and we also like really good results. So few months later, because I was doing my own food and I love food. So and if I'm dieting or anything, the food has to be nice also. It just not doesn't have to be like just bland, boring, or the same meal every day. So since I was planning my own meals also, and I had a knack for cooking and I love cooking, so वो एक taste or flavor development करना मुश्किल नहीं था मेरे लिए. So then a friend of mine pushed me that you don't know that you have this talent, and I think you can do very well if you do that, like something like a subscription plan. And at that time, Lahore peak pe tha, with every like half of Lahore being on keto diet. So that's how it started. It started Ramzan 2018, like but casually. And for me, I was lucky that my best friend, she pushed me, and और वो हर साल बैडमिंटन होस्ट करती है. तो उसने कहा था देखो आधा लाहौर यहाँ पर आया हुआ है, कुछ बना के ले आओ, खिला दो, और फिर let's just see how that goes. So since then it was like a snowball effect. So it was easy for me to like enter a market. And since it's a niche kind of service, So it wasn't difficult to market myself.
हाँ और प्लस नॉट जस्ट दैट आई थिंक दिस स्मॉल nugget here that you mentioned was कि पूरा बैडमिंटन का एक टूर्नामेंट स्लैश या गैदरिंग एक चल रही है that you actually got your first guinea pigs to even try it out and give their
Yeah, yeah,
reviews, get
yeah.
their first. That was a pretty interesting move.
Real time feedback. Yes.
What was going on overall in that, so 2017 18 in your life in a way कि professionally भी आप इसी involved थी around let's say fitness, healthy eating, some form of activities,
I think.
ये
Uh,
लाइफ
yeah.
में कुछ और बोरिंग वाला भी चल रहा था काम और ये मस्ती वाला चल रहा था, and then what was what was the time
So,
like?
okay, I did my bachelor's from UCL and then I did my master's, and then I never worked anywhere. I did some designing clothes for a while. I think almost every girl in Pakistan has done that at some point in time. So, I think that was a passion for 2 years or less, maybe. And then I got fed up with that. Then I and because I was always into health and health fanatic and good healthy food, so that just came naturally to me. So I would, like, from time to time, either do dance classes or do workout or gym or aerobics or some form of physical exertion that I'm doing. And then I happened to do the challenge in Lahore. I went in as a client, they spotted me, and then they offered me a job with the challenge in Lahore because they were expanding to another town in Johor town, and I lived there. So they thought that would be easier to employ someone who lives closer to the location, and it's easier to spot who has good postures and whose workout is good and who has a good um, health. So that's I think that was the start of it because leading a class, guiding them, and calorie counting, macro counting, all that I learned over there. So yeah,
प्री
you had a
20 प्री 20 प्री 2018 लाहौर के अंदर और पाकिस्तान के अंदर अभी the revolution of fitness and people into fitness diet, calorie counting, women, people going to gym, it wasn't a very big thing. Gym goers were still like guys who just want to buff up and look like another Salman Khan. ये थोड़ा सा
yeah.
ये अभी जो अभी की fitness revolution है ये प्री 2018 आपको इतनी ज्यादा नहीं मिल रही थी, and or was it like you were living in a part of community where you like this is like you already have a good enough large amount of people जो
Okay, so
interested
when
हैं in.
yeah, I get your point. So I think at that time boot camps were really in. The gyms were there, but being a part of a boot camp was like a thing back then. And when I joined, and I think around 1.5 year later, that's when the saturation came. But before that, when I was working out as a challenger, there used to be around 200 people at in one class. So it was massive at that time.
And sorry for my naivety, ये जो
Yeah.
challenger था होता है इसके अंदर ये this is like one of these pilates type of challenger or
Okay.
work.
So a boot camp is like an intense workout for 1 hour, which is a mix of CrossFit, high intensity workout with some weights. Yeah.
Right, and this one company that was running these challenges, that was kind of a landscape, and there are
Yeah.
few hundred
They
people joining.
at
So
that time.
yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting. This is
So
pretty
that's
cool.
the
So you were.
start of it. The start of health was from there, which is pre
हाँ
2018.
नहीं,
Yeah.
I totally get it. And one of the big lessons of starting any form of fashion business is to be doing something that you and your friends are customers of. So which means if you're living and breathing something, you're going into these classes, people are talking about यार ये आजकल keto चल रहा है, आजकल low carb चल रहा है, आजकल ये detox diet चल रही है, ये वो. So you have that, you know, that new cap, that finger on the pulse of these nuances of what people are talking about, and
Yeah.
what is going on, what is not going on. So among this, were you becoming a consumer of the keto diet yourself as well? Were you an
Yeah. Yeah.
experimenter?
Yeah, that's how it started actually because I loved it so much, and it wasn't easy. And a lot of people would question that you're having cheese and creamy stuff. How can you lose weight? I did lose some weight at that time, and it was just that it was just nice to have something cheesy and creamy and yet lose weight. So it's a different kind of diet. I do not support it that it's sustainable in the long run, but for a quick uh, weight loss thing, I think people can do that for 1 to 3 months, depending on what your weight is.
Definitely. Slightly, most people find it slightly challenging to count their own macros क्योंकि थोड़ा सा percentages का मुश्किल हो जाता है. But otherwise, तो हाँ, ketones is a very science-backed way of losing weight as well. A lot of people, a lot of runners, especially marathon runners, swear by it. They're like there are two
Marathon
kinds of
runners
fuel you can run
to
on.
stay off carbs, yeah, they
Yeah,
do
you
that from time to time.
absolutely. So this is now we're in 2018 and Body by Butter is being born. The first ideas जब आप born बे हो भी रहा होता है तो there are few things like very basic. खाना कैसे क्या बनाना है कहाँ बनाना है अपने किचन में बनाना है आउटसोर्स करना है these questions. The other question is branding करनी है कैसे करनी है लोगो कहाँ से बनेगा डिजाइन पैलेट कहाँ से आएगा तो run us through this time when you're like thinking about all these thousand things that people get scared of. Okay, how this is going to happen. So how did
Okay,
you tackle
so
each one of them?
okay, so that I think I didn't give much thought at that time. The name stayed with me. I told you when they gave us a diet and we read about it at the challenge, and after that I discussed with a few friends, especially when my best friend was really pushing me, and I spoke to a few friends. What do you think of this name? And they all said, "Oh, it's nice, keep it, keep it." So one day I just Googled Body by Butter, and it was a logo. It was brown color and it has a spoon. It was a bowl and spoon and Body by Butter written. I literally downloaded that and I gave that to a printer to design it, and that's how it started. So that was the start of it, right? And at that time, I remember because there was no one in Lahore delivering keto meal services. So मेरे लिए ऐसे था कि मैं बस सुबह खाना बनाती थी with the house help. There was no chef, there was no one. I just had two girls that were like regularly working at my place in the kitchen, and with their help, I started. So um, I think I learned how things just panned out for me. It wasn't something planned at all. I started two other companies from Body by Butter. एंड कुछ चीजें होती हैं कि वक्त की जरूरत थी इसलिए कुछ बनाना पड़ गया एंड इट हिट ऑफ वेल एट दैट टाइम एंड व्हिच आई विल टेल यू लेटर डाउन द डिस्कशन दैट जैसे फिर कोविड आया कोविड वाज लाइक अ ग्लोरियस टाइम फॉर अस जहाँ पे बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस बंद हुए थे वी एक्सपीरियंस एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ एट दैट टाइम फॉर अराउंड 8.9% per month, and that was because we were our customers were high income group and it was a niche. Hence वो जब सब घर पे बैठ के दुनिया बंद हो गई तो फर्क नहीं पड़ा हमें. Maybe I think the first month was a dip, but then when people realized that we are baking cakes and croissants every day and getting fat, that's how people started signing up after a month, and then that went on for good 1.5 2 years. And that's when we so it was a team of one. It was just me. I was the chef, I was the person on the phone dealing with customers, guiding them. And I had hired a rider जो अक्सर चीजें पिक एंड ड्रॉप करता रहता था. So he was there as a rider. He would take the meals away. So with time, चीजें change होती रही. We started off with just keto meals and one meal a day, which means that if you want to just sign up for one meal, you get that one meal of that day. And the second meal usually easy होता है कि cheese omelette or just proteins with some cheese or cream on it. And if anyone had requested that if they wanted two meals, वो सेम मील दो दफा जो होता था. Like if there is chicken nihari, they would get two chicken niharis if they want two meals. So there was no there was no creative team that we would make two separate meals. क्योंकि अभी तो स्टार्ट ही किया था, दो लड़कियां थी, कुछ समझ में उस तरह नहीं था. बस जैसे जैसे वन मील से स्टार्ट किया, कोई दो कहता था, फिर दो हम इस तरह कर लेते थे. एंड देन कोविड, God bless, COVID happened. And then, right before COVID, I had around 55 clients per day. And I remember hiring the first person. I hired a girl who was hired for handling customers at that time. So because I wanted to focus more on product development and adding more variety to the meal plan. So I had to hand over the phone to her. So it was like a very state of anxiety for me, you know, because I was dealing with the customers myself, and जो जिस तरह से मैं डील करूंगी, I know that the other person would not ever be able to do, but something close to like even 50-60% भी कर लेना तो वो at least वो जो delegation का process है ना, that's you know the first step towards it, that when you start your something on your own, you are, it's like a one man show, and then you are in the habit of micromanaging, then I have to, you know, step back and micromanage नहीं करना, delegate करना है, grow करना है तो delegate करना जरूरी है ना, all of these things, you know, things that I read in the books. लोग गलत कहते हैं कि जो किताबों में पढ़ते हैं फायदा नहीं होता, होता है, बहुत फायदा होता है उसका. So you know, it was just keto, and then we realized that when people wanted to get off the diet, they wanted to do something else but not keto, because it's not sustainable. और फिर साथ ही एक प्लान से जब वो खत्म करते थे, you would give another plan that, you know, this is another maintenance plan that you can do while when you're off keto. तो इसी तरह gluten free diet आई, low carb diet आई, और वक्त के साथ साथ, you know, you had to like survive also at the same time. COVID हुआ, COVID के अंदर और बहुत सारी चीजें हुई. हमारा concept, we were a completely subscription based model at that time, and there was no concept of daily sale. We had no website. Website basically बनी थी because our account got hacked in 2021. तो वो इसलिए वेबसाइट बनी कि सोशल मीडिया पे अगर आप डिपेंडेंट रहते हो, यू नो, यू कट ऑफ द सेल्स. सो वी got the website made 2 years back. But during COVID, one thing that we started was doing sugar-free desserts and gluten-free desserts, because that was one thing we were receiving constant calls on कि आप ये क्यों नहीं करते, क्योंकि हम घर बैठ के तो खीर गाजर ये वो खाते रहते हैं, तो we need something healthier. So that's one thing that at that time the first girl I hired for customer service, she said that we have been receiving these calls, why don't you do something around that? And that's I did a few experiments and we did, and it did well at that time.
There are many मजे की चीजें that you mentioned here, and you've
Yeah,
I have so many curiosities to ask. उससे पहले I would just
yeah,
say कि best dialogue I've ever heard regarding COVID is God bless COVID happened.
yeah,
Bang.
yeah.
4 words. Best dialogue. God bless COVID happened. Um, I want to understand कि this idea that you mentioned कि हमने subscription base पे शुरू किया, which is kind of an innovative idea. In a Pakistan kind of market, तो food panda से market चलती है और home delivery services आई, call करो आ गया, घर आएगा. तो ये वाला आइडिया कैसे उस वक्त आया कि यार सब्सक्रिप्शन बेस पे करना है, एंड व्हाट वाज द फर्स्ट सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल? ये ऐसे ही होता था कि 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day or for like 7 day period? What was the subscription model like of the time?
ओके, सो जिस तरह बाहर आप जिम जो ज्वाइन करते हैं, पाकिस्तान में वो कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है. यू हैव टू पे फॉर द जिम थ्रू योर क्रेडिट कार्ड सो दैट इट्स
Right.
ऑटोमेटिक. हाँ, तो जेहन में बस यही था कि हम वही करना चाहते हैं, like a subscription based model where people can pay a lump sum amount, and it's easier for us to lock that for certain time period. And um, and I just knew that because I was just starting off, I didn't want to add too much on my plate by adding different kind of meals. So I knew that I would do 1 and 2 meals, and if anyone wants the second meal, it would be the same. So both the meals will be same. So that it was just simple
Yeah.
for me at that time, for my simplicity, for keeping things easier and not all over the place. So I could have more control what I can deliver.
And a subscription would be that 7 day subscription was a minimum thing,
So
like, or a 3 day?
yeah, so we gave options for 1, 2, 3, and 4 weeks subscription. So वो subscription इस तरह थी कि if you sign up for 1 week and you keep signing up every week till 4 weeks, you end up paying more. But that's again just ease for
Hmm.
you, so that we usually कोई cash flow का issue होता है, या it's just easier on the pocket to pay थोड़ा थोड़ा थोड़ा, or just to pay all at once. So hence we did four different kinds of subscription meal plans.
Right. And when people get the subscription, तो वो the menu, for example, हम मेरी Monday से Sunday तक की subscription है, तो every day what happens on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's a surprise for a customer, और उनको
No,
या
no, it
उनको,
was pre-planned. No, no, when
or it's
people
a
would
pre-plan.
no, no, it was pre-planned. People would ask for the menu. We would send the menu, and if they would like it, they signed up. Or कोई चीज नहीं अच्छी होती थी या कोई उनको मतलब की नहीं होती थी, दे वुड रिक्वेस्ट इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग दैट कैन बी डन। तो जो कर सकते थे कर देते थे।
Right, right. And people, was there a prevalent mindset of the time कि पहले हमने एक दिन ट्राई करना है कि दो दिन ट्राई करना है कि नहीं सब्सक्रिप्शन ही ट्राई होता था कि वो ये कहते थे कि बस एक मील भेजते हैं?
आई थिंक उस टाइम पे ऐसा नहीं था। इट वाज मोर लाइक अ रैट रेस एट दैट टाइम दैट पीपल जस्ट
अच्छा,
वांटेड टू। या
कंपटीशन भी आया हुआ था मार्केट में उस टाइम पे? What did
कंपटीशन
you have a
था
comp?
नहीं उस टाइम पे, बट एवरीवन वाज
हाँ,
डूइंग कीटो। द सेलिब्रिटीज थे, टीवी पे था, हर जगह, यू नो, इट वाज लाइक अ फैड एट दैट टाइम।
right, right.
या
तो मुझे बताएं who turned out to be your first customer who bought the subscription?
ओके, सो माय फर्स्ट, आई रिमेम्बर 2018 मई में स्टार्ट किया था इनफॉर्मली। एंड वो कुछ फ्रेंड्स को पता चला, आई वेंट ऑफ टू हॉलीडे ऑन ईद to London. I designed the menu there while traveling there क्योंकि वहाँ पे भी बहुत क्रेज था, तो मैं देखती थी मेन्यू में, अच्छा ये भी इंटरेस्टिंग, ये भी इंटरेस्टिंग है। वहाँ मेन्यू बनाया एंड बाय द टाइम आई लैंडेड वो डिजाइन डिजोन करके उससे पहले ही ग्रुप्स वगैरह में डाल दिया था। और नहीं, ग्रुप्स तो तब होते भी नहीं थे, बस सेपरेटली इंस्टाग्राम और फेसबुक फेसबुक पे डाल दिया था। एंड अ वेरी वेरी डियर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, शी वाज माय फर्स्ट कस्टमर। That was the first payment that I received when I came back. Yeah.
Yeah, and what a beautiful model ना कि यार ये अगले 7 days के लिए, अगले एक महीने के लिए, now I have a job, now I have to prepare this meal every day, now I have a customer who has paid up, so it's a beautiful feeling. And because आप यकीन करो, most people who are reading the case study or listening here, they get stuck most at the time कि यार हमसे कौन खरीदेगा, और अगर एक दफा आपके फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली खरीद भी लें तो दिस आइडिया, दिस इनोवेटिव मॉडल के सब्सक्रिप्शन बेस में करो, ताकि इवन फॉर यू यू हैव नाउ एन अकाउंटेबिलिटी दैट यू हैव टू do it 7 days, or you have to do at least
Yeah.
4 weeks, and there's a cash flow locked for it as well. So I think that was a very very special feeling to
Yeah.
have that. Do you remember when you had the point that you reached 10 subscriptions? is
Yeah.
was there What was that like,
I
and
think
when
I
was that?
started off with 10.
अच्छा, एकदम से ही पहले शुरू ही किया?
हाँ नहीं, जो
और
पहला ग्रुप था, जो पहला जो वापस आई, तो पहला ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल था, दैट वाज ऑफ 10 पीपल।
right. So you know you're in business now. If you have 10 customers, then you can go to 50, then you can go to 100. Because 10 log agar aapse daily basis pe your customer, then word of mouth spreads, then
Yeah.
reviews come in, then you have a content to show, then a lot happens. So
Yeah.
then you know yaar, ye to bhai sahab ab to business shuru
Yeah.
ho gaya hai.
I think I was lucky also. I do consider myself very lucky that I got the right people. Someone was a blogger, मतलब तब ब्लॉगर का वर्ड इतना इस्तेमाल नहीं होता था, पता नहीं तब क्या
Hmm.
कहते थे। तब एडिटर शायद कहते थे कि फलाने मैगजीन का एडिटर है, या एक दो लोग इस टाइप के थे who happened to be well known among their circles. So whoever signed up was very well connected. तो अगर वो एक जगह बैठ के किसी की तारीफ करते थे या खाने की करते थे, तो कमिटमेंट भी होती थी, क्योंकि सोशल लाइफ भी कट नहीं कर सकते व्हेन यू आर डूइंग एनी काइंड ऑफ डाइट। यू हैव टू फाइंड सम मिडल वे, सो व्हाट अ
Yeah.
लॉट ऑफ पीपल वुड डू, दे वुड टेक देयर मील विद देम टू वेयरएवर दे वर गोइंग। तो एक वो भी एडवर्टाइजमेंट हो जाती थी, और फिर वहां के बता भी देते थे, अच्छा, आई एम डूइंग कीटो फ्रॉम दिस एंड दैट। तो इस तरह वो, इट वाज मोर लाइक अ वाइल्ड लाइफ फायर एक्चुअली। स्नो, नॉट इवन
And
स्नोबॉल
you
इफेक्ट यार।
you also mentioned कि उस वक्त अभी ग्रुप्स नहीं होते थे, so we were referring to WhatsApp groups, जब आपने कहा कि ग्रुप्स नहीं होते थे,
हाँ,
कि
नहीं
कौन?
होते थे, लेकिन इट वाज नॉट लाइक अ इन थिंग टू मेक। अब तो बात बात
तो
पे ग्रुप बन जाता है ना। हाँ, अब तो
हाँ, या फिर एक ही फैमिली के अंदर ही कोई 12 ग्रुप्स चल रहे
हाँ,
होते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
लेकिन तो उस वक्त का प्रेवेलेंट मॉडल टू आउटसाइड ऑफ योर फ्रेंड सर्कल, अगर आपने अपने बारे में बताना हो, तो व्हाट वर द सम ऑफ द मेथड्स दैट यू यूज? वाज इट फेसबुक ग्रुप्स, या फॉरवर्डेड व्हाट्सएप मैसेजेस,
Okay, so
और?
we would request our clients to post on their Insta story and tag us. And then the second thing we would do is to share their progress, before and after pictures. That they do very well.
Right, yeah. Before and
The
after,
real
I
case
we
studies,
all
yeah.
yeah we all love it's very deep in human psychology that we love a hero's journey, a hero's
Yeah.
transformation,
Yeah.
a Frodo's journey from the
Before
Shire
and
to the
after.
Mordor. Yeah,
Huh.
before and
Yeah.
after always work. So now आपने mention किया था one of the things कि you only had website in 2021. So what was what you decided would be the first when you were just going live in 2018 कि हम primarily हमारा distribution channel क्या होगा, हम कहाँ से operate करेंगे? Was it always going to be Instagram first business? Was it going to be a app जो आपको बनानी थी या बनाई, या was it going to be TikTok, or what was the mindset when starting up?
Okay, so इस पे ज्यादा प्राइमरी तो इंस्टाग्राम ही था. दैट इज वेयर आवर द राइट ऑडियंस इज. आई थिंक टिकटॉक इज नॉट. आई थिंक वो अब शायद जाके होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि पाकिस्तानी मार्केट इज डिफरेंट फॉर टिकटॉक. बट it has always been Instagram. But once our account got hacked 2 years ago, और उसके बाद जब बिजनेस बिल्कुल 3 दिन डेड रहा था, एज देयर वाज नो एक्टिविटी, almost zero, that's when I thought that we can't rely on social media. What if it goes down and it's not in our control? So we should have something of our own that people have the habit of constantly checking every day. जिस तरह सोशल मीडिया हम रोज के साथ देखते हैं ना, तो इसी तरह पीपल शुड नो के फॉर इंस्टेंस हमारे जो सुबह के मील्स चले जाते हैं, जो सब्सक्रिप्शन के मील्स होते हैं, उसमें जो बच जाते हैं, वो पुट देम अप ऑन एज डील एंड पीपल लुक फॉरवर्ड टू दैट. सो वी पुट देम अप ऑन द वेबसाइट.
Oh,
सो पहले हम स्टोरी पर, अभी भी ऐसे करते हैं, वी पुट दैट ऑन द स्टोरी एंड वी पुट द लिंक. सो पहले क्या होता था, जब किसी को चीज चाहिए होती थी, वो इंस्टाग्राम में डीएम, ये ऑर्डर कर दें, ये नाम है, ये पता है, ये नंबर है. इट वाज वेरी मैनुअल, वेरी टीडियस. तो वो फिर कॉपी पेस्ट होके व्हाट्सएप पे जाता था, फिर वो वहां से ग्रुप, एक और ग्रुप डिस्पैच पे जाता था. सो देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ मैनुअल वर्क फ्रॉम वन टू, इंफॉर्मेशन जिस तरह पास ऑन हो रही होती है. तो फिर इट वाज ऑन माय माइंड दैट आई वांटेड टू हैव समथिंग मोर सेंट्रल, के कस्टमर खुद ही भेज दे. बिकॉज दिस बैक एंड फोर्थ कॉन्वर्सेशन, जस्ट इमेजिन, अगर हम वैसे ही इंस्टाग्राम पे इतने एड्स चल रहे होते हैं, कोई ऑर्डर करे, हम पूछे क्या प्राइस है इसकी, तो एक बार एक वो मुकालमा शुरू हो जाता है, which we I didn't want.
बिल्कुल.
And because there were rapidly growing number of customers, we reached up to 250 at one point. 250 customers per day. So it was humanly not possible for us to give that kind of attention on DMs. So साथ साथ ये जरूरी था कि हम वेबसाइट बन जाए और people start, everything is a click away, and less human interaction. The only human interaction we needed was for counseling our customers. Usually होता था कि अच्छा अब खाना लेट हो गया है, या अब मैं क्या करूं, I'm still hungry, these kind of things that you they had someone to talk to. तो अगर सारा दिन हम इस तरह करते रहें कि टीम को, क्योंकि टीम भी लिमिटेड थी ना. व्हेन यू आर अ स्टार्टअप, यू आर एवरीथिंग, एवरी पर्सन इज एवरीवन. हर कोई एक दूसरे का काम कर रहा होता है इन अ स्टार्टअप कल्चर. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज.
Uh, were there some of your early friends and family who were also became, or young nieces and nephews who became part of this journey as well, to do one
Yes,
thing or the
yes.
other?
My father till date, and my brother, yes, he was looking after the delivery side. My father was helping me with the procurement side at that time, and my mother was helping me in the kitchen.
What a family business! This is a
Yeah,
family affair,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah. So ये शुरू में, I think without their support it wasn't possible at all. And one interesting
Amazing.
thing that happened, जब कोविड स्टार्ट हुआ और बैन लग गया इंपोर्ट्स के ऊपर, तो द डिजर्ट्स दैट वी वर मेकिंग वर शुगर फ्री, और उसकी एक शुगर फ्री शुगर होती है व्हिच वी वर गेटिंग फ्रॉम लंदन. एंड आई हैड टू शिफ्ट टू अ लोकल प्रोडक्ट, और वो नहीं चली सही तरह, क्वालिटी सही नहीं आ रही थी. एंड आई वाज वेंटिंग टू अनदर फ्रेंड लाइक अ फ्यू वीक्स लेटर कि बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, कि नहीं बन रही चीज सही, और इतनी खराब और कंप्लेंट्स आ रही हैं. एंड ही गोज लाइक, इफ you know what a good zero calorie sugar is, and is good for your health, and the formulation, then my company can help you make it so that you can make your desserts. So tab during COVID to 2020, I did R&D on a sugar replacement, which is now called Stay Vital. तो जब हम उस पे काम कर रहे थे, तो इंस्टाग्राम पे भी बस ऐसे ना डालते रहना कि वी आर मेकिंग दिस सो दैट. तो वो अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्क फॉर सैंपल्स. सो जब सुबह 150 मिल जाता था, तो हम थोड़ा थोड़ा सैंपल लाइक इन अ साशे डाल के दे देते. उसका इतना अच्छा फीडबैक था. अब see, that was something that we had to make for a product, as a raw material, which was used like internally, but it did so well that we had to register it as a separate company. So I am doing meals, and then I had a retail product. 2021 जनवरी को हमने लॉन्च किया था, एंड वी हैड नो नेम, क्योंकि इंस्टाग्राम से ही सारा कुछ हुआ था, एंड वी हैड पोस्टेड ऑन इंस्टाग्राम दैट वी हैव दिस प्रोडक्ट दैट यू रियली लाइक्ड, and we have no name for it, can you come up with some names? So a lot of people sent suggestions, and one of the girls, she said Steve Itel, and it just stayed with me. So फिर मैंने कहा कि नहीं, let us do this, and the first delivery was to her because she named it. And now I really enjoy doing that more. I'll show you. I have it with me.
हाँ हाँ,
Yeah.
अमेजिंग, यस,
This
अभी
was
आपने दिखाया तो
2021,
या
and this
सो
was
या
2022. So
दिस इज ब्यूटीफुल,
this is
दिस इज
like
आई
a
एम
retail
गेस,
product. Sorry?
and this is primarily stevia with some of your own combination of your own in-house
Yeah, it's a
R&D.
formulation. It's stevia plus erythritol, which is
Per-
a natural sugars, and it's 0 calorie. It mimics like sugar, but it has no aftertaste. So
right,
that's a
I
story.
think,
That's
yeah,
another
that's
story for another time. And then Express happened, where you have been coming.
yes.
So that is a partnership. My friend, he was pushing me for a very long time that you need to be like now upfront, koi retail hona chahiye. So this idea was primarily his, and that we because इतने सालों से food में काम करके, we had a very good chain of supply of local vendors and producers. So anything and everything that we have at Express is local. The idea is buy local and eat local. So Karachi से सामान आ रहे हैं, drinks हैं, I think big gutsy fermented drinks, kimchi, and a lot of things. Packaged food, broth packaged जाती हैं, इस टाइप की काफी सारी चीजें हैं. So the idea was to build a community. So we have a range of things that are within 5 kilometers, जो कि गुलबर्ग का पूरा area cover कर देता है, then 15, 20, and then other cities also. So the idea was to just shift away from imported stuff, because there's somehow people think that imported cheese अच्छी होती है क्वालिटी की. आप हमारे ग्रेनोलास देखें, दे आर सो गुड क्वालिटी. आई डोंट इवन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई वी हैव केलॉग्स और इस टाइप की चीजें यहाँ पे, कि एक तो भी अब हमारा इंपोर्ट बिल भी इतना होता है, और जो लोकल इंडस्ट्री में इतना पोटेंशियल है कि अगर उनको आउटलेट दी जाए, या जस्ट टू सपोर्ट योर ओन लोकल इंडस्ट्री, इफ यू कैन लाइक not ban but maybe put some sort of restriction on imports, it will really help small farmers, producers, manufacturers to like really make it do well for themselves and the country.
ये everything that you've mentioned now, this is what we call people who are making new Pakistan. एंड काबिल कहानी के अंदर जो आपने कुछ नाम लिए ना, बीगत्सी, किमची गर्ल, नॉर्म्स, ये
Yeah.
सारे जो एक्सप्रेस में पड़े होते हैं, ये या आ चुके हैं काबिल कहानी में या आने वाले हैं. दे आर स्लॉटेड एज वेल
Okay.
बिकॉज in the F&B market, some of these,
Mm.
and of course some of the other people who are
And
not
have you
F&B
seen there's
market,
so many women who are leading these?
so many women are leading it. And these guys, and just as you've mentioned कि जब दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट कि जब हाँ एक कंट्री इंपोर्ट्स के ऊपर थोड़ा सा बैन लगाता है या ड्यूटी लगाता है, इंपोर्ट्स महंगी होती हैं, दैट एक्चुअली डजंट मीन के कंट्री गलत कर रहा है किसी तरह से,
Yeah.
बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ द स्टोरीज दैट वी हैव सीन अराउंड द वर्ल्ड इन कंट्रीज, चाहे वो श्रीलंका, पाकिस्तान, मतलब हम कोविड में क्या सुन रहे थे कि श्रीलंका बैंकरप्ट हो गया. श्रीलंका इस वक्त जीडीपी पर कैपिटा में पाकिस्तान से 3x पे बैठा हुआ है. आप
Mm.
श्रीलंका में जाओ, आपको यूनिलीवर, पीएनजी, ये जायंट्स, नेस्ले का कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं मिलेगा. पूरी इंडस्ट्री लोकल चल रही है.
ऐसे ही
ईरान
है.
के अंदर लोकल चल रही है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अंदर तो लोगों ने लोगों के अंदर एक पूरा जज्बा डाल दिया है. यू हैव इंटरनेशनल, यू हैव स्टारबक्स, बट
Mm.
स्टारबक्स वहां खाली पड़ा होगा बिकॉज पीपल विल बी गोइंग to places that would say sourced locally, produced locally, made by Aussies for Aussies. That idea,
Yes.
that soul in the
Yes.
culture, कि यार
Mm.
हमने अपना अपने लोगों को सपोर्ट करना है. सो व्हाट वी हैव सीन विद ऑफ कोर्स द एक्सप्रेस पार्ट ऑफ बॉडी बाय बटर एंड बेक्ड जो दूसरा वाला है, कि यू गाइस हैव काइंड ऑफ बिकमिंग द, in Lahore especially, you guys are becoming the ecosystem providers that are
Mm.
then giving opportunities to others who are primarily before that either running from social media or from their homes. that they are like they can have the physical shelf space as well,
Yeah,
which is creating a pretty beautiful competitive environment for a lot of people to start. And these
it
people,
is.
some of that we have interviewed, are now retired in their lives, and they were like, "Ab kya karenge? So chalo, koi passion product hi shuru kar lete hain." So that turns out
Exactly,
to be a very good story.
exactly. But again, it's a community building. It's not gonna happen overnight. I don't know how many years it will take, but slowly, um, y- लोग तो यहाँ पे इशू ये भी है कि when you think of just मैं, you know it will be just limited to you, but when you think about the community, like we are trying to be inclusive when we hire people also. We want to have people who are autistic and Pojasara community से हम team का part रखें, so that people who come in and be an example that you can hire people from all walks of life, disabled से लेके Pojasara से लेके normal people. तो ये एक कम्युनिटी बिल्डिंग होगी तो होगी, एंड वी स्टार्टेड कम्युनिटी बिल्डिंग एक तो फर्स्टली के लोकल वेंडर्स प्रोड्यूसर्स, एंड देन वी हैव अ वेरी स्मॉल लाइब्रेरी इफ यू हैव सीन. It's take one give one, so there is no, we don't sell books, but you can take any book you like and give a book, again for the concept of community building over here.
Beautiful concept. Amna, the other thing I would like to highlight is that आपका जो पूरे brand के aesthetics हैं, the design work of it, whether your website, it looks so premium, it's almost tasty. The website looks tasty as well. The color palettes that I use,
Hmm.
Instagram के ऊपर pictures and reels. So, was there anybody within your team early days से जो पूरा aesthetics control कर रहा था, whether it was you, या आप ये grow करके इतना अच्छा किया? So, what has been the story of design, branding, and
तो
aesthetics?
डिजाइन, आई टोल्ड यू, पहला तो मैंने गूगल से डाउनलोड किया था.
वो तो बेस्ट, दैट इज द बेस्ट थिंग यू शेयर विद अस, बिकॉज ताकि लोग इस चीज को ओवरथिंक ना करें कि द
No,
एक्चुअली आई
exactly.
वुड
You
लाइक
don't
टू
have
मेंशन
to
हियर
have.
the
हाँ.
single important thing for all the founders and aspiring founders is कि get out, get your first customer. Google से ले लो, किसी कोई थीम बनी बनाई यूज कर लो, Instagram पे बस मतलब कुछ भी पोस्ट कर दो, लेकिन really get the first customer. That is the single most important thing. और फिर सब कुछ आहिस्ता आहिस्ता इटरेट होके बेहतर हो जाता है. So
एग्जैक्टली, जब हमारी
आप
कोई
बताएं.
रिक्वेस्ट आती है ना, वी डोंट से नो. हम पहले हाँ कर लें, फिर बाद में सोचते हैं अब करेंगे कैसे. सो इस तरह करना पड़ता है साथ साथ. सॉरी, आई लॉस्ट व्हाट द
हाँ,
क्वेश्चन यू
yeah.
हैड आस्क्ड.
So you were saying कि पहला लोगो तो हमने आपने गूगल से ले लिया था, उसके बाद
हाँ
ये
ठीक
कैसे
है.
पूरी डिजाइन
पहला
एंड एस्थेटिक्स
लोगो,
जर्नी?
या, so that was the first logo. I just put the name out and I saw a few pictures and I liked one which gave earthy organic feels. वो डाउनलोड कर लिया, which was a brown, और वो एक शेप थी. उसका भी एक पूरा एवोल्यूशन है उसका लोगो का ना. एंड देन फिर एक फ्रेंड ने कहा कि इट्स टाइम दैट यू शुड लाइक चेंज अ फ्यू थिंग्स एंड बिल्ड ऑन द ब्रांड नेम हाउ इट शुड बी, चूज अ फ्यू कलर्स. फिर कब तक बैठ के हमने ये डिसाइड किया था, एंड we I think we managed to again express का भी logo वैसा ही है, because it's an extension of body by butter. It's the same theme, same logo, the leaf जो ये आपको पीछे भी नजर आ रहा है ये यहाँ पे. हाँ.
Yep,
So
yep.
anything that has yellow and green, uh, yellow green इसलिए because green for like local और पाकिस्तान का जो झंडा है वो भी green है. It was primarily that, and yellow just for, again, it doesn't have any scientific reason why it was green and yellow, but it just made more sense for us because I wanted to stay with these colors. And then it's a whole file. Whenever we need to make a post or anything, या marketing team different जब change करते रहते हैं, तो एक वो पूरी file अलग है ब्रांड इमेज के फॉन्ट कौन सा है, साइज क्या होते हैं, और ये सारा कुछ. एंड द सेम वी अप्लाइड ऑन द वेबसाइट. वेबसाइट का ये था कि वी वर ऑन वर्डप्रेस फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड ऑफ, but this website would keep crashing, and then we migrated to Shopify, which was a beyond amazing experience.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the product photography on the website is really good as well. So product photography या reels photography कैसे करते हैं?
अच्छा, अगेन वो भी इस तरह नहीं था कि कुछ भी ना चीज फर्स्ट टाइम पे अमेजिंग नहीं होती, वो अच्छा करना पड़ता है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. इफ यू हैव सीन सम ओल्ड पिक्चर्स, इट हैज एन ऑफ वाइट बैकग्राउंड एंड द न्यूअर वंस हैव अ मिंट ग्रीन
एग्जैक्टली,
बैकग्राउंड.
मिंट ग्रीन, या
तो आप अच्छा कह रहे हैं, हाँ. तो वो फोटोग्राफर एक दफा लेकर आया था मिंट बैकग्राउंड. उसने कहा मैम इस पे ट्राई करें. उस मैंने कहा चलो, अब हम ऑफ वाइट से इस पे अब जा रहे हैं. कहते हैं ट्राई तो करें. So, sometimes you have to leave you have to make that call or leap of faith that you let the artist give that space. मुझे, मैं हरफन मौला तो नहीं हूँ ना, मैं किचन में भी सही हांडी डोई कर रही हूँ और मैं कस्टमर के साथ भी डील कर रही हूँ, मैं राइडर के साथ भी. दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. आई कांट एक्सेल इन ऑल ऑफ दैट. सो समटाइम्स यू हैव टू अगेन, जो स्टार्टअप्स में जो कभी कभार इशू होता है, इट्स अबाउट माइक्रो मैनेजिंग एंड डेलीगेटिंग. तो आई थिंक जब मैंने ये सीखा कि अच्छा, जब मैं छोटे छोटे टास्क डेलीगेट कर लेती हूँ, इट लिफ्ट सो मच वेट ऑफ माई शोल्डर्स दैट आई एम एबल टू परफॉर्म मच बेटर एक्चुअली. और अगर एंड समटाइम्स ऐसे personalities भी होती हैं, because I keep reading a lot of biographies. So some CEOs I've read about, they are very rigid. वो कहते हैं ऐसा है तो ऐसा ही है ना. But that works for them. But कुछ जगहों पे आके, and even in their story when I read and I try to take inspiration from that, sometimes you have to trust the process and leave the things up to the person. So again with the photographer, उसने कहा अब मैं देखें तो सही. And जब उस pictures आई वापस, and I loved it. मैंने कहा अब यही होगा.
Among these biographies, one or two founders that actually has inspired a lot of your way of doing, कोई आता है mind में?
हाँ. Shoe Dog. I forgot the name. Philip?
It's Phil Knight. Phil Knight, Shoe Dog by Phil
Yes,
Knight, the founder of
yes,
Nike.
yes, yes. So that is मुझे वो चैप्टर वाइज चैप्टर स्टोरी की तरह ऐसे मेरे जहन में है कि फर्स्ट ऑफिस में खिड़की टूटी हुई थी, अखबार से चिपका के हवा बंद की कि ठंडी हवा अंदर ना आए. सो आई थिंक दैट इज इंस्पिरेशनल. इन हाउ ही गॉट इंस्पिरेशन, जैसे वो नाइकी एयर आए, वो बेगम ने ला के वॉफल्स रखे थे, तो वॉफल्स का स्पंज था. सो आई थिंक इट जस्ट amazing how people how they find inspiration in little things.
No, I definitely agree. It was 2017, I think, when it came out. And 2017 was the year when I had finally left my formal job in Singapore and moved to Australia. And I was
Acha.
building my first business as well. Shoe Dog came to my in my radar as well. So, us waqt, at that time and age, reading Shoe Dog and this guy who's traveling through Japan and getting to know different factories and climbing Mount
Hmm.
Fiji and then अपने चार दोस्तों के साथ गैराज के अंदर optimizing shoes, यार इसको थोड़ा
Exactly.
सा और बेहतर कैसे कर सकते हैं, बेहतर कैसे कर सकते हैं, that
And
idea.
always in
And
debt. Always in
always
debt.
in there. Yeah,
Yes.
Nike became properly ना जिसको मतलब properly profitable and like made him rich was 10 years after his founding. So it's not
Yeah.
a small journey. It's really हम मतलब quick fixes की जिस दुनिया में रहते हैं ना ये Nikes वगैरह ये these are like they've taken a lot of
They've
heart
had
and
their fair
soul.
share of struggles. Yes. Yes.
या बट अब बिल्कुल पैशनेट फाउंडर था बंदा मतलब उसको
Hmm.
he lives and breathes running in shoes and
Yes.
de-stress while running as well. I think I totally get it. Any any major mistake in your journey that has cost you a lot in the past 5 6 years that you look back and you're like यार ये ना this was too much ये नहीं होना चाहिए लेकिन but it was a good
Course.
lesson.
नहीं होना तो नहीं चाहिए. आई थिंक होना चाहिए. इट अगेन यू हैव टू ट्रस्ट द प्रोसेस.
Love it.
आपकी पर्सनालिटी बिल्डिंग इससे होती है. आई थिंक when you're expanding, you will have a lot of people around you who will be giving you the wrong advice, who would want to be, a part of uh, वो मुहावरा है ना, बहती गंगा में हाथ धोना. उस टाइप के लोग होंगे काफी. एंड आई मेड सम फुलिश चॉइसेस by having certain people on board. And आप जितना सीखते हो ना, जब आपका ट्रस्ट टूटता है, there is no money that can teach you that. So if you have lost money, and I have lost some of it by trusting people or investing in projects that weren't not fruitile, but were with the wrong kind of people. So I learned it the hard way, but I think I wouldn't want it any other way, because उससे फिर मैंने ये सीखा था कि, for instance, like how a con artist works. And then I watched a few documentaries. There was this Inventing Hannah on Netflix, and then there was another Tinder swindler. So when I read about how con artist works, they have the same trait. They project a very flamboyant lifestyle, and they operate in a certain way. And now that, like, being conned and made some bad choices, which I do not regret, and I don't think anyone should regret, क्योंकि जो ऐसे bad experiences होते हैं, you lose money, आप ये समझ लो कि it was a part of R&D and D and you lost it, but the experience that you gain from it, there is no substitute for that. And especially if it opens your third eye, or you are able to judge people in a better light. And I think now my process of meeting people or judging people is completely different. मैं पहले कहती हूँ ये तो बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं है. Now that person has to make me love him or her. So it's a process of its own. Um, you need therapy also, I think, at some point in time. But the bad experiences, I think they are the ones that make you.
Yeah. A lot of times, people fall into trap thinking that life is going in circles, but if with the right growth mindset that you've just said, the life is actually going in spiral, and the spiral is going trending upwards. So a lot of these things are actually contributing to the overall growth. And it's the Inventing Anna and Tinder Swindler came, I think, at pretty much the same time in
They
2020,
were at the
2021.
same time, yes.
Became sensations, right? पूरा दोनों ही viral हो गए थे एक साथ, and
Um,
so deep into human psychology, right? This understanding, and I think I one of the things that काइंड ऑफ पोस्ट टिकटॉक एज ने थोड़ा ज्यादा कर दिया, बट इंस्टाग्राम ने भी किया ही था कि वी लिविंग अ लॉट इन projected world rather than the world that is that we are interested in, or that represents our passion. And I think a lot of people who come to us is like, yeah, so vlogging karni hai. And my first advice to you guys and everybody is like, कि सब कुछ करो, vlogging भी करो, but वो किसी एक पैशनेट, चाहे आपको फूड का पैशन है एंड यू बिल्डिंग टेस्टिंग समथिंग लाइक 10 पीपल, और जूते बनाने का पैशन है, टेक द पैशन आउट इनटू द व्लॉगिंग वर्ल्ड,
that,
ताकि यू एंड पुट योर हार्ट एंड सोल इन दैट, एंड पीपल विल गेट टू सी दैट. बट अगर प्रोजेक्टेड इमेज होगा, जिसके projected images like my life is so cool and making these dance or funny videos and with like just to get those views, उसका नहीं फायदा होता, वो एक projected image होता है, and then it breaks down,
that
and now it's already breaking down. इतना ज्यादा mental stress and anxiety आ चुकी हुई है in a lot of people. And uh, thank you for sharing that. That was lovely. So अभी भी आप अपने आप को startup ही consider करते हैं now that yes,
oh yes.
three different products. So within the startup environment, what have you learned that you can share with us about hiring the people, hiring the right team, and nurturing the right team in the Pakistan context?
Okay. So ये पहले भी किसी ने सवाल पूछा था. um, so there will be two ways, right? The first person you hire in your team might be the first person you fire later on. And if that हाँ, तो वो पार्टनर हो सकता है, मे बी, के you if, like, if there are two partners who started it out together, that's different. But I think the team building, my first question, not even person, I try to find passion in the person, because I come from a place where I started from nothing. I had, there was no plan. मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था मैंने यहाँ पे आज इस तरह काम कर रहे होना था, running 3 companies. But it was out of passion. I was passion driven. And any person who is driven by passion, उसको काम zero आता होगा. लेकिन अगर उसमें passion होगा, that person, he or she, will make ends meet to do whatever it takes. So you have to either instill passion. Sometimes people, of course, not everyone is coming from a privileged background or had great teachers in life, but you need to give people chances. You'll, again, hiding, maybe you make many mistakes. You give chances and you give um, sometimes people oversell themselves also. But it's, for me, the key is that I look for passion in the person. That person may know nothing, लेकिन zero पे भी होगा, आप उसको, you can make him or her your golden girl or boy.
I think that's a beautiful concept. कि, okay, also the world is changing so fast in terms of
Very dynamic.
what what या marketing कैसे use करनी है या tech tools क्या use करनी है customer service के if the person is actually happy about his or her life, passionate about the things they're doing, तो वो on the job बहुत तेजी से सीख जाएंगे. But अगर we are
Exactly.
looking at people के यार मतलब वो लर्निंग सेल्फ मोटिवेशन कर्व नहीं है तो दुनिया आगे निकल
Exactly.
जाती है with
और
especially
एक
this
और
new
क्वेश्चन
world.
होता है कि मेरी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या होगी. आई थिंक दैट क्वेश्चन इज सो आउटडेटेड नाउ.
It doesn't exist. It
So
doesn't exist.
it's very outdated. There is no job description.
There is no job description. Even
Yeah.
even very simple thing, making reels on Instagram for marketing, जिसको conventional reels का concept है, वही अगर evolve होता जा रहा है. There is no formula for reels that work anymore. So
Yeah.
how would you even describe what is the quality we're looking in somebody who can be our social media person? Let's say. अब कितनी बड़ी टीम हो गई? How many people are working? How do you have daily meetings, weekly meetings? कैसा चलता है? What is the setup like?
So I have to divide time. Like I have to give few hours to body by butter, 2 to 3 hours. 2 hours is enough for stay vital, and then express because it's 1.5 year old almost. We started last year, September 2023. जो कि हाँ second year start हो रहा है. So I think that needs a lot of my attention because it's a different experience being in retail front, dealing with customers yourself. And क्योंकि last year, the whole one last year, 2023 to 24, I spent literally on the floor at Express, meeting people and, being working behind counters with the team also. But this year was more about, okay, I need to have a balance among the three children that I have. Yeah.
Amazing. Last thing about the your new venturing into Instagram Reels world, and I must say, very very funny, very spunky reels. इसका पीछे हुआ the who's the mind behind it? How do you execute on ideas?
Okay, so I think I was lucky. This team is called Sharks, and
Okay.
yeah, a group of young boys and girls, very passionate. और इस तरह तो कई messages आते हैं. I don't know what they said in that message. मैंने कहा okay, they're based in Gulberg. I'm also mostly in Gulberg, so maybe meeting and commuting is much easier. So मैंने कहा "Okay, मिल लेते हैं." When I met them and the vibe, the energy they had, and the kind of ideas they had, and वो जिस टाइप के क्वालिटी ब्रांड्स को लेना चाह रहे थे. एक होता है ना कि you have a brand that pays you well, but you can't think out of the box, right? It's unfortunate that you're not able to be creative for that person or give your passion. So it was natural for them that उनका दिमाग चलता था, and a lot of it is maybe because they are kids, they're Gen Zs, तो शायद इसलिए भी वो हो गया था. और फिर जब वो आइडियाज देते थे ना, देन आई वुड ऐड आवर एक्सपीरियंस हियर एट एक्सप्रेस, एंड आई वुड टेल देम, और वो उसी वक्त फौरन नोट करते थे. वो कहते थे हम इस रील को, इस आइडिया को हम इससे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, व्हिच विल मेक इट इवन मोर रियल एंड ऑथेंटिक. तो इट जस्ट वर्क for both of us, and they're amazing. Abhi sirf it's just been 1 month of retainership with them. We are working on the next month's calendar now.
I think that's amazing, and thank you for bringing them to light. We will actually reach out to them as well and share their story as well. I think with the one foundational block that we are looking at this new Pakistan that we call is people who are using social commerce, social media for meaningful businesses, and that is what we call social commerce. So within the social commerce aspect, I think groups like them
Mhm.
they're kind of a blessing for a lot of businesses. Like my parents want to start a business but वो कैसे अपना social media करे तो फंसे रहते हैं. इसी तरह there are
Exactly.
so many parents and millennials and every generation within Pakistan context that who wants to use social media to bring their products to the market, but social media is a difficult game and not everybody is made for
It
this.
is.
But having groups like आपने sharks बताया है, sharks.
Sharks. Yeah, they're called sharks.
uh, we will reach out to them. I think they're doing a very good service in Pakistan, adding good content that
Yes,
makes
yeah,
people puts
yeah.
put smile in front of people and also positions the brand in a very good way. I think that is pretty much it. All that we have heard from you, learned from you. It has been a joyful ride, Amna. Thank you for sharing with
Thank
so
you so
much
much.
transparency, so much inside stories, the growth story. It's definitely so much. So inspiration, and is this idea that you're continuing to reinvent this is fascinating. It, the market of fitness, health, longevity, it's very close to me. And the moment it was the first time I knew that Steve Vital is by you as well, and I mean it just clicks it. Yes, of course, हम शायद सारे ही स्टीवियाज हमारे पास पड़े हुए हैं, so every स्टीविया प्रोडक्ट घर में पड़ा हुआ है, ग्रेनोला
अच्छा,
के लिए भी, फिटलिशियस से लेके ग्रीक योगर्ट्स वाले भी, सब कुछ हमने, हमारे पास भी पूरा ये स्टॉकिंग चीज स्टॉक होती है, एंड वी ट्राइंग टू इन आवर वे हैव आवर फ्रेंड्स, आवर फैमिली ट्राई दीज थिंग्स, सो दैट विद कोई हमारा इसमें जस्ट विद वन माइंडसेट के this is better for your health, for your fitness, for your mind, for your longevity. So I think getting to know these stories is always a pleasure.
thank you so much
And
for having, and it was like lovely going through the past again. How far I've come.
How
Yeah.
so to end with, where can people find you? Is it what is the Instagram handle, and what are the different outlets and or website?
Yeah, we have websites for all. If you can just search, if you're looking for Express, just write Express Grosses. For Body by Butter, just write Body by Butter, and that's the website that you'll find. And Steve IT, just write that, and you'll get that. Basically, हमने उस पे SEO पे काफी काम किया कि कोई भी वर्ड डालोगे ना, इन दोनों में, तीनों में से कुछ ना कुछ निकल आएगा.
Best. और अपने Instagram handles भी बता दें.
Okay. So it's at the rate bodybybutter.pk and stevital.co. That's second.
Right.
And third is Body by Butter Express. Express with X, not E.
हाँ, so
Yeah.
EX and then PRESS
Yeah.
Express.
Yeah. I can share it with you guys separately also.
हाँ हाँ, वो तो हमने will put it in the show notes and in the on the website and everywhere. Guys, all of you who have gone through this, I think there were so many insights here. And make sure that in your journey, whatever that is useful, like Shoe Dog Phil Knight of Nike, the Nike's founder, has been very, very inspirational for Amna and I in our journeys back in like 2017, 18. And I think similarly, Amna's journey would be very inspirational for you. There will be some nuggets that will always keep coming back to you as you grow from your zero to first customer, first to 10 customers, and 10 to, as Amna said, almost 250 customers on subscription. So I think a lot of great nuggets to be learned from there. If you ever pass by MM Alam or just go to the website or in a store where you find Steve Vital, do give Amna the shout out. Tell her on the Instagram just that we've been using it. How do you feel about it? Your honest feedback to all of this. And finally, as she mentioned, that she is building this community based on inclusivity, bringing others together, giving other businesses this chance as well. So if you have anything that you want to collaborate as well, do hit her up on her Instagram as well, and
Yes.
see if any way you can you want to be part of this journey as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.